Alright, what's up guys? It's Troy back again here for the Walking Dead review for episode 2, Bloodletting of season 2. Now if you're looking for this episode, I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be up just yet. You can PM me if you want and I'll try to get you a link for it or whatever. Best place usually is AMC's website, or check ISO Hunt and look for the torrent for it. Just search for Walking Dead Bloodletting and check the date and the comments for it and that kind of stuff to see if it's good, and you can probably find it there. Those of you who are looking for a review for the episode and you've already seen the episode, this is where you want to go. There will be some spoilers though, so if anybody's worried about that with regards to the comic book or the TV show, then there will be minor spoilers. Although there wasn't too much that happened in this episode that's really spoiler worthy. This episode, after the first episode of this season, obviously they couldn't keep up the same pace as the first episode. The pacing in the first episode was just, that was like movie quality. That was my favorite episode of The Walking Dead so far, was the first episode of the second season. The premiere just blew it out of the park. It was so amazing. It was just absolutely fantastic. Now, of course, the pacing had to slow here a little bit. And we got to see, for a majority of the episode, it was pretty slow. Let's start off from the beginning. So, at the beginning of the episode, we got to see sort of a flashback, which was really nice. I'm not sure how everybody feels about these flashbacks, but I really like them, where you get to see kind of what their lives were like before this all happened. And, you've got Shane and Lori, and they're going to pick up Carl at the school, or Lori's there to pick it up and pick up Carl, and Shane shows up and basically informs her what's going on. Excellent acting by Chandler Riggs. I'm continuously impressed by him. That was a really, really good performance where he starts crying and stuff. That really looked, legit and everything. And that kid's got some skills, man. I think he's going to have a long career ahead of him. Definitely, it wouldn't hurt to have The Walking Dead on your resume for sure, because I think this show will last a while. Hopefully, if AMC handles it correctly, it will. I guess we'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, moving on from there. So the flashbacks are nice. I always love the flashbacks. Love to see that little stuff. And then we get into the episode. I thought it was pretty exciting at the beginning, the whole thing with Carl, and Rick's kind of carrying him, and I like the fact that he's running ahead and Shane's yelling at Otis, calling him fat shit, and like dragging him forward. That was funny. It's amazing how much better the Shane character is in the TV show than he is in the comic book. In the comic book, Shane is, he isn't even really drawn out too much. He's just pretty one-dimensional. He's pretty much a dick to everybody. He's just gone off the deep end, and he doesn't even make it this far. I really like the Shane character in this, in the TV show, and I'm sure he's going to survive this part at the end here. Definitely he will, but it's really nice to. It's really nice to see a character like him be put in the show. I like all the additions that they put onto the show that weren't in the comic book. I like Daryl being in there. I like Shane. I like even T-Dog is cool, and everybody. Just all the additions they made are really, really good. All right. Anyway, let's continue on from there. So the remainder of the episode is kind of them just kind of going around and getting their stuff back together. Maggie, Hershals' daughter, goes to inform Lori of the situation, comes in on a horse and hits a zombie in the head with a baseball bat. To me, that was a little, it wasn't great. Now, if you think of this episode, this might have the fewest zombie kills of almost any episode since maybe like episode 3 of the first season. Like, it's been a while since there have been this few zombie kills in an episode. I think I counted like a couple, like 1 or 2 or 3. I'm not sure if Shane or and Otis killed any zombies on the way in there. I really don't remember. Maybe a couple. But so there was really only like a couple zombie kills in this episode. And not too much action. Continuing on from there, so they kind of figure out that that they're going to need additional supplies to save Carl. So Shane volunteers to go off, and then Lori comes back, and the group that's near the RV, they kind of find a plan, and T-Dog's getting sick from the infection from his arm from the cut on the dirty metal. And so he may or may not make it. So that stuff is all kind of good. Not too much to comment on there with all of that. I think some of Daryl's comments were funny about Merle and getting the clap and stuff. That was just a little ridiculous, but it was kind of funny too at the same time with all the drugs he's got on his bike and stuff. So that was funny. And then, of course, it gets into the exciting part at the end with Shane and Otis going to that was at high school, and they were trying to get some of the medical supplies, and looks like they did get them pretty much right before they're pretty much almost overwhelmed. Before I get into that sequence, I wanted to mention a little bit about the new characters. So the Maggie character, looks fine. I think she's at the right age and everything, and the actor seems to be pretty good. Hershal, I really like Hershal. I think that the actor does really good job of portraying Hershal. I kind of sensed, the comic book Hershal in him a little bit, and everything. So he's going to be good. I think he'll be, a good character in the show. It's really early for them, compared to the comic book, to bring these characters in and have them be at the farm and have Carl be shot. I mean, in the comic book, it was much different. They traveled around a while before this happened, and before they met up with with Hershal and the farm. So they're kind of doing things backward, kind of going their own way, and I like that. I kind of want to see, in the first season, I kind of wanted to see it just like the comic book, but now I'm kind of thinking, I want them to do more of their own stuff. I don't want it to be like the comic book. I like the fact that Shane's still alive. I like the fact that, all this other stuff is happening that didn't happen in the comic book, and we have other characters. I think that that's really good, and I hope that they continue on with that. Shane is just a much more likable character in the TV show than he was in the comic book, like way more. The way he's willing to help out Carl and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I can't really see them killing Shane off anytime soon with all the extra stuff he's doing, and he's a totally different character than he was in the comic book. He's, other than the name and the way he looks being similar, nothing else is the same about this character. So that's kind of cool to see. I really like that a lot. So all the new characters look pretty good. Everything, everything's cool with Hershal's farm. I don't have any problems with that. Moving on from there to the final sequence, which was very exciting. Or pretty exciting anyway, even though it was, pretty crunched in the last few minutes. They might have wanted to extend that scene a little bit. I think really what they should have done with this episode was, or one of the reasons why I didn't like this episode as much was, you have to have slower times in the show. Yes, that's easy to see. But I think that it would have been cool to mix it up a little bit with some more zombie action in between and some more suspense in between, so that it doesn't feel like this episode kind of felt like it was exciting at the beginning with what was going on with Carl, and then there was a big lull, and then there was a lot of commercials, and then at the end we got the exciting part, and then it was over. So there was this huge section in the middle where there was almost nothing going on, and it wasn't really very exciting at all, in my opinion, anyway. So yeah, but a decent episode. This episode overall, I'm going to give, I guess, a 7 out of 10. It wasn't great, and it wasn't horrible. It was just a good episode, in my opinion. They could have added more action, like I was saying. They could have added more suspense, and maybe, I think it's good. It's always a good mix if you have a couple scenes going on at the same time, and you have, or sequences, and you have in one sequence you got Carl and what's going on there, and then you got somebody else in trouble, throughout the episode. So you kind of cut back and forth so that it keeps people interested in the action too, for the people that are just pretty much there for that. Now, this is a character-driven show, yes. However, you still like to kind of see those elements in The Walking Dead. It's kind of, if you take away the suspense, the horror, the zombies from The Walking Dead, what do you have? It's not The Walking Dead anymore. That, you know what I mean? It's a totally different show. It's like, if you just have all character development, then you've got a soap opera or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that to me was a little bit, I'd like to see it a little bit scattered out throughout the episode. So yeah, the ending was great with, I think it's one of the weird casting jobs is that Otis is completely different from the way he was in the comic book. He wasn't like this big fat guy, bald fat guy in the comic book, but, whatever. I mean, I guess it's kind of funny that he's like this big fat guy. That's kind of funny to see him kind of like trying to survive, because he's trying to run around. And oh, another thing I forgot to mention, Jesus, are the zombies fast in this show at some times. In the episode Guts, which is the second episode of the first season, they're getting like chased and the zombies are like sprinting after them. And in this episode too, the zombies are flying after them, from all kinds of different angles and stuff, which is, it was pretty crazy. It was intense, and I like it. I just think that they shouldn't make the zombies too fast. And I like how they split it up, where sometimes they're faster if there's a lot of them, and and they haven't had food for a while, then they'll be really. But then others, if they're just like lurkers, they're kind of they're not malnutritioned. Yeah, they don't have enough nutrients and stuff, and they're kind of like, just rotting corpses almost, where they can barely move at all, like Bicycle Girl. So I'm cool with all that. I think that's all really, really good and really well done. My concern for this season is this: if you guys don't know, this season has a lower budget than the first season did, which is just crazy if you ask me, because if you think about it, the first season had 6 episodes. This season has, was it 12 or 13? 12, I think. And yeah, I mean, like, and the budget's low, the budget's smaller than it was in the first season for 6 episodes, for twice the amount of episodes. So my fear is this, with a smaller budget and stuff, I'm afraid we're probably going to see less zombie action. I really am. And that's kind of a prediction on my part. I think we're going to see a lot more episodes like this one, where there is a lot of stuff going on. There's a few exciting parts, but then you have a lot of time in between. It's kind of like lull time. Like, you know, they're sitting around and, you know, Rick's drinking a glass to make himself feel better. All this kind of stuff. It's like, you know, I don't know, man, but, you know, I like the extra stuff. I like, you know, the flashbacks to the earlier stuff. I just don't want it to feel like it's filler. You know what I mean? I don't want it to feel like, you know, it's filler because the budget's low. And I'm afraid that's what we're going to see a lot this season, is are episodes like this one where there's about 5 or 10 minutes of action, and then the whole rest of the episode is just like, you know, there isn't really much going on. And it's not that, you know, there is no character development or whatever, because you got to have that too, but, you know, I just want to feel like there's a lot of stuff going on, or there's something, you know, really interesting going on. The first season, they had to cram it in with 6 episodes, so we didn't get this stuff. I think there was like one episode last season, you know, that I was thinking was kind of a little bit slow. It was after Guts, but I mean, that was understandable because episode 3, because of just the way the episode was and everything, and Rick coming back and finding his family. I mean, and them getting to know each other at the camp, so that just made sense. But for this one, I just felt like there was way too much filler and the pacing was too slow. So I hope going forward that even though there's 12 episodes, we don't get a lot of episodes like this one. I hope this doesn't become formulaic for the rest of the season where, you know, 50 minutes of slow time, 10 minutes of zombie action. I'd like to see it more like, at worst case, maybe 40 minutes of slow time, 20 minutes of zombie action. But I don't think that's going to happen. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed the review, and let's talk about it in the comments. I'd love to talk about The Walking Dead with all you guys and, you know, discuss with each other. And let me know what you think. Is this budget really going to hurt this season? I think it is. I think this episode kind of showed that. In addition to that, the director who directed the first episode and a couple episodes from the first season, Frank Darabont, the guy who pretty much had the idea to do this in the first place, was fired. So I think he only did a few episodes from this season. So we may have seen, you know, the end of his work, or coming close to, pretty soon. So hopefully that doesn't affect the quality of the show too. Anyway, I guess we'll see going forward. I'll be doing reviews every week. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you next week. Later. Peace.